Greetings, everybody. I'm Steve Mesple from Wildwood Guitars, and I have had the great pleasure hanging out today with Mr. Bart Walsh from Gibson, USA. Bart has demonstrated, educated, and inspired us all on the Firebird X.
And irritated, frustrated.
Wow. He's a songwriter, too. You can tell. He's got away with rhyme. Bart, thanks so much for joining us, too.
Yeah.
So you've told us all things about the Firebird X. I was hoping you could share a little bit of your musical history in life.
Okay.
Sometimes for our listeners, I think it's really helpful to find out what inspired you to become a guitar player. What has led you on this twisted path to Gibson guitars?
Twisted is a good word. It all started in first grade when my goldfish died. No. I started playing when I was 7. I had a fairly famous great uncle, a guy named Cecil Campbell, who was like in the early Gene Autry movies, right? Like Ride Ranger Ride. He had a band called the Tennessee Ramblers. And he would come to my grandmother's house and play on Sundays and stuff. So I got really excited about the guitar and started learning some, little country 3-chord ditties, and then bought my first rock record, Deep Purple's Machine Head, I believe, when I was 10 years old, and after that it was
life-changing experience.
Life-changing experience, and then started playing professionally when I was 16. Have done so ever since then in some form or arena of the music industry. Everything from touring as a side guy for David Lee Roth, Bret Michaels, having my own bands, having tribute bands, teaching, doing sessions, doing film and television stuff, doing audio. The list goes on and on. So I'm kind of a guy that, kind of survivalist, if you will. I think we have to be in this day and age to really follow our passions. And I was lucky enough to get hired on by Gibson about 9 years ago as a clinician.
So I'm going to take you back just a little ways. Did you have guitar teachers as a young man? Did you learn from family?
I did.
What was your first great guitar? First guitar, and then first good guitar?
All of the above. The first really good guitar I had, you might say, is a Teisco Del Rey, and I think a lot of guys started with those in the Sears amplifier, know, that you would get from the department stores. Then I took some lessons when I was young, but I was mostly self-taught, other than my uncle and some other family members. But I did it the old-fashioned way of scraping the needle over the records and trying to get that Clapton lick, or who was my first influence, or Blackmore, and then later on Van Halen and Rhodes and Aerosmith and bands and players of that nature. And then I went to GIT in '85, graduated there in '86, and taught there for a while in the '90s. Then that's kind of like where I got my musical formal education, because I kind of knew all this stuff, but it was just putting it together in the right way. So I try to piece that together, and it's one of the greatest things I ever did was going to GIT. It really was.
Yep.
Little plug for the alma mater there.
Yeah, no, I've got a lot of friends, customers, a lot of great players have come out of there, and a lot of people went in average players and learned a tremendous amount about the guitar.
I went in average and came out below average.
at a huge cost,
At a huge cost.
Yes, that's money well spent.
But I knew everything.
Well, just big thanks to you for joining us. We hope we can do this again soon. I'll be traveling back to Nashville, and I'll be sure to stop in and say hi when I'm visiting Gibson. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Steve.
Been
Thanks,
a pleasure.
guys. Appreciate
Bart Walsh.
it. Woo!